Welcome back. The Shop Talk Podcast. Live from the workbench. The birthday podcast. Birthday stories. I think that's about all you're going to get out of me because the intro's just was not working. We're actually not live from the workbench. We're live from Andrew's bar. So what we got going on? Got some birthday stories. Got some interview with Brandon Clark. The garbage disposal, and I butchered his name at the beginning of it, and I want to apologize for that. Been a little lackadaisical lately. Then we have What's for Dinner, and it's a 12-minute perfect steak on a cast iron large skillet. I want to thank Brandon for taking out the time to and he's a funny dude, too. You got to check out his channel. He's on YouTube, and he's the fastest eater I've ever seen. And a lot of other competitive eaters would attest to that. And I'm sorry I butchered her name. I usually do one-shot recordings, and maybe that needs to change. I'm not a year older. I'm only a day older. I ordered the same movie twice off eBay from different sellers, and I didn't receive either one of them, and it's all because, and that was my birthday present to myself, and the movie Sexy Beast, and like on Blu-ray you can get it, but they're like $20 to like $35. And I want it on Blu-ray or whatever, but I just ordered it on a DVD because it was like $4. I have a big problem. I've never had a problem with USPS, and I have a big problem with them just not delivering stuff. I got the money back for the first one. I haven't contacted eBay about the second one. It's not the seller's fault. I've ordered so much stuff online, and I've sold so much stuff online, and I've always liked USPS, but it's whoever is delivering this stuff. Another thing, one of my gifts that my wife got me didn't come in the mail, and she had to contact them, and just a big mix-up. They just need to fire the girl, hire someone else, you know.
Who the fuck said that? Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?
That's R. Lee. Yeah. Mini-Me passed away. And what a shame. You know. I think he was 48 or 49. So it's not like he was incredibly young. He wasn't incredibly old either. But, I mean, for a person of his stature, I wouldn't think that you would live very long. Norman's Rare Guitars just posted a 1978 Music Master bass. And I owned one, and it had the second set of strings on it, and they were like black diamond strings, I think, flat wounds, and they were black, and it was black. It had the original hang tag, and if I had that bass today, I'm not a bass player, but I'm hardly a guitar player, but it'd be worth a lot more than I sold it for. And I think I might have sold it for $800, which was good money at the time. It might have been $700. I can't remember. It's been 8 or 9 years. That just tells you hold on to this stuff long enough, you know, and you're in a pinch, you can get some money out of it, but that's the whole problem. And anyways, so I was listening to some YouTube, searching some stuff, and if you type in Bill Burr on drums, or Bill Burr drums. Now, I'm a Bill Burr. I listen to his podcast, and I like him as a stand-up comedian, but his podcast is great. Well, this is what leads into the other story. But the guy is good. at playing drums. And I'm going to get into this story in a little bit about a guy that I was sitting next to at the bar. And mind you, I haven't been in a bar in like 2 years. But we'll get into that in just a second. So it goes back to, I was living downtown Columbus. And I'm from Grove City, which is a suburb of Columbus. Grove City is a completely different world than downtown. I think every suburb around Columbus is completely different than how downtown was and is. Now it's been cleaned up a little bit, especially along 4th Street. I lived off of 4th Street, and another time I lived off of 5th Street. So in the same area, close to where if any local listeners are listening, close to where the city center used to be. Also close to the infamous bus station. But this had nothing to do with that. This had everything to do with, I used to go to this bar, and I was there maybe 2.5 years ago, but before I used to know the owners, and that's when downtown was real bad. So I lived there about 10 years ago, then maybe 5 years ago. 6 years ago. So downtown was a little different, and it was still, 6 years ago, it was still evolving, and it was getting nicer. So after they sold out to, the new owners, which I know who owns them too. I don't know them. I know the company that owns them. But sitting in that bar was completely different from the 10 years ago to the 6 years ago. Anyways, so after they sold out, they cleaned up the place a little bit. They got the vagrants. They weren't coming in there anymore. They weren't trying to come in there. And after a certain amount of time downtown, the gas stations closed, and like 9, 10 o'clock they would close. So if you wanted a drink, and or company, you would go to the bar when there's nothing down in that area at the time. Now there's 6 or 7 bars lined up and restaurants. And I would sit next to this guy at the bar. I don't remember his name, but he occasionally had scrubs on, and he was pretty high and mighty, but all he drank was martinis. But he was a fucking asshole, No one knew exactly what he did, and I used to know his name, of course. He was all right from time to time, and I would talk to him. Of course, I sat next to him, and there was another guy I sat next to. So this other guy, we don't know exactly what he was. We'll just assume that he's a nurse. That's okay. That's fine. The other guy I would sit next to was a lawyer that wasn't allowed to practice law anymore because he actually wrote laws. And he lived at one of the nicer condominiums downtown, which actually aren't that expensive anymore. It's called the Waterford, like the Crystal Company. And he was a super nice guy. And but I remember where he's from, but I don't remember where what his name is. He was from, I want to say Elkhart, Indiana, and I remember that because a lot of instruments are made in Indiana. And I haven't been looking at my thing. He drinks scotch. Did I mention he was gay? He was a gay lawyer. That's what I got written down here. It's pretty terrible. Anyways, at the time, I knew pretty much everybody that worked in the bar. And actually, the dude that the gay lawyer wasn't there that day. And the Ohio State basketball game was on, but the nurse, man nurse, whatever you want to call him, he was there. And I wasn't really, at that time, I would look, and there's a free paper called the Columbus Alive. You can see where all the open mic nights were at that time. And so I was downtown, so I was close to everything. And if I had to, I could take a cab there, blah, blah, blah. I could, there's endless possibilities. So I'd see if there's any open mic nights or see if I knew a lot of the musicians in town because I worked at the musician's pawn shop. And, let's see. He got pissed and he was drinking his martini. That's what was written down on here.
Who the fuck said that?
Yeah. But anyways, I got a big argument with him. And it was about something, at the time actually I was writing a book, and I don't even remember what the argument, I didn't actually really was talking to him, I was just kind of talking, and it was probably in the middle of the day, like, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, it wasn't late. Wait, yes, yeah. It's also the same bar, I got a knife pulled on me outside of it, and ran back in, and the bartender, the manager at the time, I told him to call the cops, and he told me to leave. What a fucking asshole. Anyways, so why is this the birthday edition? I have no clue. We're not even going there. I just want to tell this damn story. So anyways, the man nurse is sitting there, and he's sipping on his martini, and he's watching the OSU basketball game. And he said to me, he's like, I'm not going to sit and talk about guitars with you tonight, because I found out before that he actually played at one point and he quit completely. Well, he said it almost ruined his life, and you can't be good at more than one thing or great at more than one thing in your life. You can only be great at one thing in your life. So that goes back to the Bill Burr. Bill Burr, he's pretty damn good at playing drums, and I wouldn't say he's great, but I think he's great. But anyways, he was just arguing with me, and it had nothing to do with anything. He told me he just wanted to watch the basketball game, and he didn't want to talk about guitars at night, and blah 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 blah. Well, you know what? Whatever I was doing at the time, maybe because at one point I was going to try to do some stand-up comedy, which, thank God, for your guys' ears, I never did. But, you can be good. You can be great at multiple things in your life, Look at Bill Cosby. Just kidding. No, I'm just saying, this guy is so full of shit. He said he quit playing guitar. It almost ruined his life. He sold all his guitars, and he was like maybe a singer-songwriter. I don't remember, but it almost ruined his life. Whatever. Yeah, he sold all his guitars. Yeah, he's basically talking about how he wasted his time. It wasted his time learning how to play, and it wasted his time. It just. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm just reading over this crap. And so we started arguing, and I turned around, and he didn't even turn around and look at me. And I kind of said into his ear before I left, I said, there's something really fucking wrong with you, man. And paid for my drink or whatever. The bartender, though, at the time goes, and it's not the same bartender that told me to leave another time, said, and I wasn't even drunk, and that's the amazing thing about it, because, I don't know, maybe he just wanted to relax, that's fine. I wasn't trying to talk to him, that's the thing. And the bartender says, if you guys keep raising your voices, one of you are going to have to leave. And I said, I'll leave. I'll take the higher road. And I'll tell him there's something seriously fucking wrong with him. And happy birthday to me, by the way. Fuck that guy. I don't know where he's at, and I don't care. And that was all at the, I'm not afraid to say it. It was at the Little Palace downtown Columbus, by the way. I want to give a shout out to Randy at 16-Bit on 4th Street. I don't know if you're still there, but he's my dude. And some of the bartender, the waitresses, the nurses down there at 16-Bit. Again, he could be gone. I haven't been there for 2.5 years. But when this happened, this was, 6 years ago. Anyways, another guy I grew up with, Todd Tennant, ended up being a bartender at that bar, Little Palace. And he was there at the time. He wasn't working there. He was working there at the time, but he wasn't there. You know what I mean? Anyways, on my birthday, the one year I was sitting there, and he goes, "Oh, it's your birthday?" And he gave me a 6-pack of Heineken, which at the time was $9.99 take-home beer. That is super cheap, and he just gave it to me, and that was it. Hell, I used to get beer on credit down there, and but also, I mean, that's great. Take-home beer, $10. I remember when I was younger, I don't even know of age, my friends would sometimes buy beer at the bar, take-home beer. It was expensive. It wasn't cheap. And it was crap beer, too. Like Bud Light, like watered down stuff. Oh, yeah. When I was there another time, and Todd was working, and it was his birthday. And he said, "Oh, it's your birthday?" Or I said, "Oh, it's your birthday?" Same thing. And I gave him a $20 bill. So, long story short, let's see if that...
Who the fuck said that?
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck said that?
Long story short, Todd Tennant, if you're out there, you owe me like $10, man. And it's my birthday, so you could just give me a 20. I hope you guys listen to the interview. See, this is one of 3. So the next one will be 2 of 3, and that's me and Brandon's interview. And go ahead and listen to that, and I hope you guys have a good weekend and a good week coming up. You guys take care, and just take care. Let's see if this even works.
Can it be that it was all
Yep.
so simple then?
Got me thinking, I remember the time.
Can it be that it was all so simple then?
Ain't no changing what's left.
Can it be that it was all so simple then?
Because we all race against death.
Can it be that it was all so simple